Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all? We will start this session at 2:05. Okay. So, if you're having any doubt, let me know before that. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. How are you all? Am I audible, guys? Okay, so we have completed the front end. Now, from today, we will start the back end. Good afternoon, Anusha. Good afternoon, everyone. Once again. So, if I talk about back end, okay, so before that, we already completed the front end, okay, and we know the logic of the front end, how to build the front end, and many concept we already know, right? And we already know how can we use the API, okay, that is also the part of the backend. Great. So let's start once again. What is the web service, right? uh let's start with a question. What is a web service? What is a web service, guys? Okay, so if I talk about the web service, any answers? Response. Great. So if I talk about a web service, so we can simply say that a software system that typically designed to propagate communication between the client and server application on www. Okay, so what it do, what is that? So it does a software system that is specially designed to propagate communication between the client and server. Okay, so web service propagate communication between the client and server. So when client requests something, okay, response from a server to the client, and client will get a response from a client to the server. Okay, so this is a wave service, right? In a simple word, I can say that method of communication among two or more device over a internet. Okay, so yeah, it will allow to build on a different programming language to communicate, uh, you can say communicate with each other without any trouble, and it uses the internet for direct application to application interaction. Okay, so this is a model. Okay, we can call it web service. So what is the purpose of web service? Okay, so first thing, we can say if it is used for the communication, in communication it will share some data, right? So we can call it data exchange, right? So if I talk about a data exchange, so application can use a web service to share data with each other. Okay, if I give you example, so website can use a web service provided by a, you can say, payment gateway to the process the customer payment securely. Like if you are on a e-commerce website, so there should be payment gateway, and that payment gateway you can call it web service. It is a web service. Okay, then you can call it functionality exchange, right? If you sharing some data with them, web service is a software system designed to support machine to machine interaction over a internet. Yes, great, Humera. So functionality exchange, we can say, if it is share a data, it can share the functionality with the data. Okay, then third thing, integration. Okay, what is meaning of integration? To adding something. Okay, so web service crucial in a integration, like display system and like application, they allow different system component to work together, right? And even if they are developed using different technology, web service allow them to work together. Okay, so we can call it integration. Okay, next functionality will be, it should be platform independent, right? It should be run on a Android, Mac, Linux, Windows, all, right? So it should be platform independent. Let's talk about type of web services. First is, so I can call simple object access protocol, right? Simple object access protocol. So if I talk about a SOAP, okay, so SOAP is a protocol specification that define a set of rules. What is meaning of protocol? Something that define we having some set of rules, that we called a protocol, right? So SOAP is a protocol that define a set of rule and standard for structuring masses, okay, structuring masses and exchanging information. So it is based on XML. Okay, it is based on extensible markup language. Okay, so typically it uses HTTP. Okay, SMTP. Okay, and or TCP, transport communication protocol, right? So if I talk about soap was widely used in early days, when a web service and has been standardized during a like WW3C, right? World Wide Web communication. Okay, so when it initialized during that time, the soap is a very important concept, but we having a later than that. But let's talk about the characteristic. So if I talk about the characteristic of soap messaging format, what it provide, messaging format. Okay, so messaging formatted using XML. Okay, using XML, extensible markup language. It include there the message include header and authentication for security. Okay, error handling. So it will include during the soap. Okay, in a messaging format. Okay, then standardize standardize protocol, right? It is complex and formal. Okay, it having already built in security, so we can call built in security, right? Guys, this is important thing. After that you will able to know what is the API. Okay, before that you are like this, you are like this person. Okay, then if I talk about the next thing, that is a stateful. Okay, it having state, so it is stateful. Okay, so soap can maintain their state between the request supporting transaction and conversation between the client and server. So it is stateful. Okay. What is the advantage here? You can see in the feature, I like characteristic. From characteristic, what will be the advantage? First is messaging format. So we can call strongly typed, right? Second thing, standardized, right? And third thing, secure because it provide authentication, right? uh, it provide header and footer, header in complex and formal standardized. Okay, it provide authentication there, right? So this is about advantage. Okay, this is advantage of this. Okay, then if I talk about disadvantage, then verbosity. Okay, so message can be quite large due to the XML format. Okay, so there is a problem that we called verbosity. Okay, so leading with the increased bandwidth consumption and slower transmission time. Okay, it will take a time to transfer. If it is a like big file, then it will always take a more time than a small file. So with when we type with the help of XML, uh, I think that was not a good practice. So that is a bad thing also. Sometimes it will be good, it will be bad also. And second thing, if I talk about complexity, right? So soap having standardized structure, right? It having a rigid structure and complex standard can make it challenging to implement, especially if I talk about for simpler application. If you're using soap in a simple application, then it is a challenging. Okay, your of course it gonna be slower, your application gonna be slower. Okay, understand guys the soap, understand everyone. I will talk about this, don't worry. What is API? Understand? Say yes or no. Wait a minute, let me connect the charger. Yeah, okay. Any doubt, Nagalakshmi? Okay. So I hope everyone able to take the screenshot of this. Okay. Generally, you don't know about this. Basically, no one will teach you this thing. They directly start this. They don't also talk about this rest. Okay. So it is called representational state trans transfer. Okay. So rest is a architecture style that define a set of constraint. Okay. And for designing network application. So it was introduced by raw. Okay. Raw fielding in doctoral dissertation in 2000. Okay. And not 200, 2000. Okay. And he has gained widespread adoption due to its simplicity and scalability. Okay. RESTful web service uses HTTP methods like get, put, put, post, delete, etc. So it perform URL, right? Like, where was yeah, this is a REST API model, not this. Where is a REST? Yeah, this one. This is the thing I'm talking about. Okay. So when client request it get post put delete, and then there is a REST API that communicate with the database, and database with the it is responsible to alter the data or assess the data, and it will provide us response in a JSON format. We earlier seen the JSON format, right? So let's talk about characteristic. So it is stateless. Okay, not stateful like a soap. Okay, so rest is a stateless. Okay, and meaning of each request from a client to server must contain a information necessary to understand and process the request. In SOAP, this thing is not necessary, but here it is necessary. You have to define what you want in this request. Okay, when you send a request, you have to send the info what you want. This is thing called stateless. Okay, so server side information about the client state is not stored between request. Okay, there we store state between server and client, but here we don't store that thing. Okay, Second thing, it should be resource based. Okay, resource based. So when you like request, okay, so you have to send a specific thing. Each method, each API here will responsible for that. Okay, so HTTP method represent the operation to be performed on that resources. Okay, if it is a particular resources, so it should be defined. Okay, then it is a representational. Okay, so what was the representation? How we can represent? Same with the help of three things. Rest can have a multiple representation, just like that. JSON, okay, XML, also HTML, and HTML also should be there, and there will be a many markup language. So I am going to write etc like a JSX. We already know. So what is we can call stateless communication. So RESTful API use standard HTTP status and it indicates the result of request. So making it easier for client to understand the outcome of their action. Okay, client know what I want here, but there they don't know. Okay, what is advantage? So first advantage is disadvantage of the upper one that we seen earlier. It was lightweight. Okay, it is scalable. Okay, flexible, simple. Okay, because you understand. So this is the advantage. What is the disadvantage here? Here you can see we having no standard. So lack of standard, you can say, and limited security. Okay, the next one I am talking about, no one will teach you, is GraphQL. Just for knowledge I am like talking about these things. It is okay, right? Or I don't have to teach this thing? Because this thing today they were asked you in a um, interview. That's why I'm teaching this thing. Is responsive. This is your class. I have to talk about this thing or not? This is something that is extra, like extra theory part that directly they can ask you in interviews. That's why I'm teaching this thing. Rather than I can speak if you don't want to this. I can directly start the building the thing. This is Node.js. This is this. This is that. Be responsive, everyone. I have to teach this thing or not? Yes or no? Okay. Okay, so if I talk about a GraphQL, okay, so GraphQL is a modern query. Okay, please listen it. If you're like, this is something that is very important thing. Okay, this is directly they will ask you the what is different between the SOAP and REST, what is different between the REST and GraphQL. So they directly ask you with the like only with the fresher, not for the like experienced one. And you as you are guys from a MCS, so they will put you the harder question with you, right? So if I talk about a GraphQL, so it is a modern query. Okay, it is something that use in a companies. Okay, big companies. Basically, many big company use API and many big company use GraphQL. Okay, so if I talk about a GraphQL, it is a modern query language and runtime for API development by Facebook. Okay, developed by Facebook. Okay, so it provide a more flexibility and more efficiency. Efficient. It is a more efficient, you can say, and than the REST API. Now REST API is a transitional method. Okay, traditional method, and this is a new method. Okay, but still we are working on a API. I am here teach you only the API, but the GraphQL is just something that you learn after 1 year 2 year experience, but the basic thing they can ask. Okay, so if I talk about this, so it provides a more flexibility and efficiency alternative to traditional API. And unlike JSON, RPC, and XML, GraphQL allow client to request exactly the data they need. Okay, and nothing more than that. It reducing overfetching and underfetching data, like offer data. Okay, so like in a last we face a data, right? If I talk about there, let me open this controller object. Okay, so if I came here, inside our project. Okay, so here I fetch a data inside the products right here. Okay, see here, when I will use this API, okay, and to fetch a data, like sorry, like this. Okay, so you can see I am getting many things that is not required when I use this, and for different thing I have to build a different uh, API. But this is not something necessary inside a GraphQL. What is a GraphQL? Inside a GraphQL, like what you want, okay, there is a already REST API, and there is like they will give you the data that is required. If you required inside that, that is that I am fetching, many I am getting everything here. So if I want to get only the image, okay, so I will get only image in a GraphQL with the same API, not a different API, with the same API. Okay, so this is something that is a very effective. It gives the same data what you required. Okay, so commonly it is used in to build a social media, okay, and like content management system, application like that is a real time and updated or crucial. So this is a new thing that is a very effective in a IT industry. Okay, in a basically in a web development industry. So if I talk about a key feature, so first is a data format. Okay, so GraphQL request response use a custom query language, and uh, that can be understood by the both the human and the machine. Okay, so they are used typically JSON. Okay, and it use, this is very important, single endpoint. Okay, only one endpoint. But in a REST API, we create a lot of endpoint. Okay, so unlike a REST API, it have a multiple endpoint. GraphQL has a single endpoint and making it more straightforward to manage and optimize. Okay, and it is a very flexible. So this is something. Okay, so it having very less disadvantage, so I'm not going to talk about the disadvantage because this is a new thing and we don't find any more disadvantage here. You can say it is very critical to learn, it is very difficult to learn the thing, but once you able to learn this thing, it is, if you are able to learn the API, how to build the API, then definitely you, this is easier for you. Okay, this thing. So let's talk about. Okay, so here, if I talk about what is different between the GraphQL and uh, so me, GraphQL is a super cool. Everything should use it, and I think it should gonna be replace REST API. Lay REST APIs. Okay, so reaction. What is the reaction of REST API? He will say first, uh, please learn me. Then you have to go. So you are a this guy, right? You are a this guy. Okay. I don't know what an API is, and this point I am too afraid to ask. Okay. Okay. So what is API? I want to know with you. You are this guy or this guy? What is API, guys? Okay, first let me teach you in a standard way, and then I will give you a very good example to understand the thing, right? What is the meaning of API is. Okay, so if I talk about what is an API, so API stand for, anyone giving the responses? I'm waiting for your responses, guys. Application programming interface. Okay. Okay. So API stand for application programming interface. It is in abbreviation we call API. So it is a set of rules. Okay. Uh, and protocol that allow different software application to communicate and interact with each other. Okay, so if it is a different software, it will allow to communicate with them. Okay, so it defines the method and data format that one software program can use to request and exchange information or perform a specific action with another program. uh, okay, if it is a different system, it is having a Mac or Linux, so they can easily communicate. Okay, so what is the Web API then? There is many type of API. What is Web API? So Web API are a set of rule and protocol that allow the different software application to communicate and interact with each other over the internet. Okay, so this is called Web API, and API act as a intermediator. Okay, and it enable application to seamlessly assess and exchange data and functionality between the two systems. Okay, they play a crucial role in a modern web development by enabling the integration of diverse system and services. If I give you the example, don't be this. Okay, so I forget to tell you the REST API model. I will talk about this. But I required this one, right? To control X. Okay, so if I talk about so if it is a database and web server, in between there is a web application, so many can came over the internet to access this thing with a different devices, and they can access with the help of web application where API will response and web service and database will exchange over the internet, right? So let's talk about key feature. Okay, so it having a standard communication protocols. Okay, okay, note it down. This is also a very important question, okay, inside the industry, so note it down. This is very important. What is a protocols of what is a protocols of APIs? Okay, note it. Okay, so this is your homework. So when API typically use like standard communication protocols such as HTTP, okay, for data exchange, this make them accessible and compatible across a different platform and programming language. Okay, second thing I can say, data format. Okay, Third thing, restful APIs. What is this? So, representational state transfer is a widely used architecture style, okay, for a designing web application. So, we use the RESTful, okay, RESTful to build a API, okay, like with the method like a get, post, put, delete to perform action, and resources identified by URLs. Okay, it having very hard thing, that is authentication and authorization. And versioning. Okay, so why it is so? As a API, when it involve over a time, it is essential to manage backward compatibility, versioning allow multiple API version to coexist, ensuring that existing client application continue to function correctly even as a API changes. So, and last thing is a documentation. Okay, it having a documentation. So, good API documentation is a crucial for developer to understand the how to use. Okay, to, so it having, that's why every developer use this thing. Okay, so if I talk about the example, so we already built the e-commerce, right? Social media, it is used to build the payment gateway, map and location API, cloud service APIs, weather APIs. This is something, okay, this is something example of API. Okay, so how many of you able to understand what is API is? Okay, so guys, this is very important topic. That why I'm repeating again and again. What is API? People able to build the API, but in a reality, they don't know what is actually the API, right? Okay, so let me make some interesting example. Okay, Control C, Control. It is not working. The copy and paste. Shit, man. Okay, so if I talk about API, so how API work? Okay, if I talk about how API work, what is the work of API, right? So there is a two thing, right? First thing is communication. Okay, every web services is about communication. Okay, So everything here is a communication, right? Like in a web services, everything is a communication. Okay, so first thing you have to learn how to communicate, right? So how can you communicate with someone? Answer, please answer, everyone. How can you communicate with other one? Like how we are communicating? Guys, how to make a communication? What is important for the communication? Where there is so very less responses today. Krishna, Harish, Manikanta, Gitanjali, Balakrishna. What is like important thing to communication? Language, yes. Language is something that is important for the communication. Okay. So on this platform here, we are here and we are decided we will communicate in a English, right? Because I don't know Telugu, you don't know Hindi. That's why here we decided we will communicate in a English, right? Because we both knows English. So same thing here. Uh, inside the API, we decide some format. Okay, we decide some format like a JSON, XML. So we will communicate in that language. Okay, with our API. Sorry, with our uh, machine. Okay, so we decided the language for the API. What will be the language for the API? See, there will be the many languages, right? There will be if my front end is made up with the Python. Okay, Python, and a backend in a Java or Node.js. Okay, so how we will make a communication? Okay, how we will make a communication with the help of the REST API. Okay, this should be the common language. And what will be the language there? What will be the format of the language there? Might be JSON, might be XML, might be HTML, right? We will decide that thing. Okay, with the help of REST API, if different thing is built in a different language, so they can able to make a communication. Okay, both the programming language should understand a common languages. So this is the first thing is a communication. Second thing will be the laziness, like this cat. Okay, you have to lazy. How? See, if I want to get a, I want to create a weather app. Okay, so how can I collect the data? How can I get the data of weather? So simple thing is that you have to launch one. You have to borrow one satellite with Elon Musk, and you have to launch that satellite. Okay, in the sky, in the universe. So when you launch that thing in the space, you having that much budget for a web application everyone having, and everyone is active like that? No. So you have to lazy. There is a many company, they create a API, right? They are working on that, like ISRO, like NASA, like SpaceX. They already working on that thing. So they collecting the data. What is the need of us? We have to get that data from them. And how you will get the data from them? With the help of API. You will ask for the API, you will pay them, and you will get the data through the API. So this is something how API will work. Okay, first thing is a communication, and second thing, you should be lazy. Okay, you should be dependent on other. Okay, you will not able to build your own payment gateway without permission of a government of India. So you have to use a Rozgar Pay, right? Roser Pay, sorry. Okay. So if I give you the simple example, so if this is a mobile, it will request with the API, it will fetch from the server and it will respond to the client, right? There is the same thing, that like older example, there was a waiter, you check the menu and make the order. So waiter is there. Okay, waiter will take a order to the kitchen, and he will ask, please make this thing. Okay, so please cook this thing. Okay, so he will bring the pizza from the kitchen, if you like ask for pizza or something, and then it will deliver the pizza to the table. So what is the waiter here? He is a API. Waiter is a API here. Okay, he is API. Got it? I hope this will be clear about the API. Okay, so let's talk about explanation. First thing, what you are doing with the help of API, you will request. Okay, second thing will be processing, third thing will be response. Okay, and fourth thing will be, what will be the fourth thing? Client response. Okay, it is okay or not, because he already know what he required, what he want. Okay, and fourth thing is action. Fourth thing is action. Okay, so type of web API. So we already talked about RESTful API, that is we called REST API, right? So commonly we use HTTP standard, get, post, put, delete, right? It is a resource based, it is a stateless, we already discussed, and use cases, it having widely used. And second thing is a graph QL. Okay, so we already discussed this. Okay, and fourth thing is a web socket API, many of you know about this thing. So WebSocket provide a full duplex, okay, communication channel, and over a single TCP connection. Okay, it provide a full duplex. But that means the communication can happen between them. Okay, simultaneously they can put they can response or request. Okay, the both are client and server. Okay, so WebSocket API enable real time bi-directional communication between the client and server. Okay, and if I talk about the characteristics, so persistent connection, unlike a traditional HTTP request, RESTful API, WebSocket connection remain open, enable low latency communication. Okay, so when a web API communication start, right? If I give you the simple example, is your WhatsApp. You can send, and he can also send the data at the same time, and still it will working. If he is online, it will show you the online, and if you are online, it will be so online to him, and at that time you can communicate between them. So that is a good example of WebSocket API. Okay, we will use, if you are having in upcoming you might get social media platform, so you have to build this functionality, so you will use WebSocket there, right? So if I talk about characteristics of persistent connection, like traditional, and it should be real time updates. Okay, so use cases same, WhatsApp, the chat and all. Okay, so anyone having any doubt? Let's start. Now we will start Node.js. Okay, what is Node.js? What is Node.js, guys? Be responsive. I'm coming in 2 minutes. Node.js is JavaScript runtime environment built on a V8 JavaScript engine that allow developer to run JavaScript on a yes, correct. So Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment actually. Okay. Many of you like call it a library or something. No, this is a correct. Okay. It is a JavaScript runtime environment and it built on a V8 engine. Right. Today is a lot of theory session, I think. So wait a minute. So if I talk about like what is V8 engine? So it is Chrome V8 engine, right? Chrome having V8 engine. We already talked about this thing in a JavaScript, right? So what is multi-page application? We already talked about MPA. Firstly, let me discuss the. I forget HTTP responses. I think I forget to tell you. I think right. So let me discuss for that thing. Then we will discuss Node.js and we will write the first Node.js application. So first, let's see the basic format of REST API. Okay. So first thing, you having a endpoint URL endpoint. Okay. So it is a what is a URL link? Actually, what is the endpoint? So it should be URL link that will represent a specific resources. Okay, that will represent the specific resources. Okay, so that we call URL endpoint. In a REST API, it is many, but in GraphQL, it should be only single. Okay, now the next is the HTTP verb. Okay, so it tells the server to do with URL endpoint like get, post, right, delete, put, and then there is a many more method like a head. Okay, And then it should having some masses that we call body masses. Okay, with that in a format of JSON. Okay, basically. So there is also patch, right? So patch is something like you update only the field of the resources if it is exist. Inside a put, it is like update. You can update that data if it is not there. So you can also insert that thing. But in a patch, you can update that data that is only exist. Okay. So we'll share the about a URL endpoint in a like class there, the summary. Okay. So let's talk about status code. The 4 point is a the main point I have to discuss, that is a status code. Okay, everyone note this thing. Okay, so if it is start with the 100, okay, so status code is something uh, when you basic request something like RESTful format, the server will return a HTTP status code along with any optional JSON. Okay, so it status code is a very important there. So if it is a start from a one, it will be informational. Okay, so it is something like this stated code indicate that the server has received and it is a processing your work, right? So the client typically does not need to act based on this code. Okay, so this is a code, server is a working on that. If it is a 2, start with a 2. Okay, 200. So basically this code represent success. Okay, and if it is start with a 3x, the meaning of that redirection, right? The meaning of that, you change the redirection stated code information that further action is needed to fulfill the request. It will give let client to the another page, or it have to send the next information. So like that, at that time we use 3x. Okay, if it is a 4x, that means client error. Okay, so this means the error in a front end, or client is sending the wrong data, or there is a problem of the internet of client. Okay, there is a problem of internet. Okay, if it is a 5x, that means server error. Okay, so there is a problem in a back end. Okay, so this server error code indicate that server encounter a problem with processing the request. Okay, and if it is start with a 4x. Okay, so this is something like here we having, if I talk about the important some important thing is 200. The meaning of that is okay, and then we use with this. Okay, I will give one example each of this. 301. So meaning of this thing is moved moved permanently. Okay. If it is error is like 400, bad request 404, sir, internet problem, right? So if I talk about 401, okay, so meaning of that is unauthorized. Okay. And if I talk about 403, then meaning of that forbidden. Okay, I'm not going to send something forbidden me. uh double E I put here, right? 404, um not found, right? And if it is start with a, if it is a 500, server internal error. Okay. 503, server unavailable. Sorry, 503, server unavailable. Okay. So these are the some HTTP status, okay, code that we will use. Okay, basically. So let's talk about. Okay. MPA is a type of web that consists of multiple pages. Okay, great. Each with it own unique functionality. Okay, it is a traditional web application. Okay, see the MPA. So I already talked about multi-page application, and inside that we use wait a minute. Uh, Sir, can you please see the MPA? Where you saw the MPA also status. Can you want to see the MPA? NPA I already like show you. I think Kalyani multi-page in previous classes. You can see the request. Yeah, you can take this. I already talk about MPA, server side rendering and client side rendering. MPA uses server side rendering basically, right? So if it is use server side rendering, SEO is very high with the use of this application, right? We will create a multiple pages here, right? Initial rendering will be very fast, but re-rendering is very slow, right? Because we have to create a new thing again and again, whole thing again and again. That's why, right? So this is a server side like MPA, multi-page application. Done. Done, Kalyani. Have you taken this? Take the screenshot simply. Okay, and you already know MPA, like this multi-page application. I already told in a previous classes, and I hope you taken the screenshot of that single page application and multi-page application, right? So I hope everyone able to install the Node.js. Okay, this is important thing. Once again, I am repeating it fourth time. So get a Node.js. Okay, here just install window installer. I just click and install this thing. Okay, and how to check it? Uh, Using a CMD, right? So here you can write node space hyphen v. Okay, so you will get a responses. Okay, so I will close this thing, the whole this thing, and this thing also. Okay, and this thing also. Okay, here we will create one folder. Okay, that will name as server. Okay, and we will move to cd server. Everyone having Node.js, say yes or no. Okay, so in previously I said npm, npm, and npm in a React, right? So let's see what is npm. Okay, what is npm in Node.js? So it is called Node Package Manager. Okay, so JavaScript programming language has a package manager, and that is called npm or Node Package Manager. It is used to install, manage, and share packages of reusable code that we use in a Node.js. Okay, and it is the default package manager for the Node.js runtime environment. Yarn is also there, but npm is a default. Npm gives user access to a sizable expanding library of open source packages that are simple to install and include in Node.js project. It make it simple for developer to exchange code. Okay, so npm packages are distributed in a form of modules. Okay, distributed in a form of module. Okay, so how to do? If you want to install something with npm, so you will write npm install, right? And you will have to provide the package name. Then after that npm uninstall, here package name. Okay, if you want to uninstall that, and if you want to update, you have to do npm update. Okay, so you will able to update all the packages. Okay, and if specific, if you want update, you can give the name. Okay, so let's create a first thing. Okay, so when I will do npm init, okay, inside a server. Okay, so it is asking package name server, I said yes. Version, okay. Description, if you want to give, you can. Okay, index.js, you can give your name. I will change server.js. Okay, then entry point is index.js, server.js. We will talk about this thing. Then test command, okay, I will keep it as it is. And git repository, I am not adding anything. Keywords, I am not adding thing. Author, I will give a name. Okay, my name. Okay, then isc license, what you want to give here, you can. Okay, just click yes or okay, click enter. Right, so we get packet.json file here, right? Let's talk about this packet.json. So the packet.json file is used to specify the project metadata. Okay, like name is a metadata of a project. Okay, so it represents the metadata and dependencies. Okay, it is a default file that is created when you use the npm init command to start a new node.js project. Okay, so we did already that thing and it is created. Okay, so there is a many field. So first is a name, so name of the, it is a name of the project. Second is a version, so it is a version number of the project. Okay, third is a script, so uh, if there was a description, so description will be there. And third is a main. Okay, main, so it is the main, the entry point file of the project. Okay, and if we having a dev dependency there, so a list of project develop dependency, if it is, it was there, it was there in a react, right? So if I talk about a script, right, so a set of command that can execute using npm run, right? So if I write some script here, so I will write start node server.js. Okay, now I will create a first file here, that is a server.js. Great, many of you might be write index.js, you can. Okay, and there is another package we seen in a cra, npx. Okay, npx. Okay, so this is something we called, what is full form npx? First I want to know with you guys. I already explained this thing, I think. What is NPX? What is full form of NPX? Node package execution. Okay. So npx command has been used for, it is a node package runner. Okay, it is used since 2017. Okay, before that we don't like use this thing. We use npm only. Okay, so npx command has been highly potent tools. Okay, and npx command enable you to execute that has been developed with a node.js and released through the npm registry. Okay, so this is something. Bro, कुछ मिनट रुक जाओ यार. So okay, so what is the use of npx? Let's talk about first. Okay, so if I talk about first thing, npx is easily run local commands. Okay, so if I talk about npm, it is for the global, not for the local. But npx is for the local. So it make a that execution command where readability and availability and instant response, where you want instant response. So it is very usable on node.js developer use this circulate most of them use a global package also, that is npm. And you will use this thing npx, but today like in this era we were using uh, white wheat. Okay, so that is better than npx. I think npx will be deprecated after some time. Okay, so it easily run local at that time. Okay, installation list. Okay, command execution. Okay, it was this. So so let's start the node project. Okay, so we created one package, and here we will do we will create a node we will install a node module. So here we will do npm install basically. Okay, so we got a packet log file. Okay, but we didn't install any dependencies here. Okay, so there is a many modules in a node.js. Okay, so let's talk about modules. So if I talk about modules in node.js, it is a core idea of node.js module, like which let you split your code into a reusable node.js. Okay, it is possible to utilize module to group together comparable piece of code and data, making It is a simpler to manage and reuse code throughout your program. Okay, so there is a some types of node modules. Okay, types of modules in node. Okay, so first is core module. Okay, so if I talk about this core module, so this is something that is a built-in module usually called core module. Okay, and it included with the node.js and offer a broad range of capability for creating node.js application. It is similar to how other node.js module are loaded in your application, usually need function. So these core modules are installed with the node.js. When you install a node.js itself, so they came with came with node.js. Okay, you don't have to install this thing. Okay, node.js. So it is like you having fs, right? Then http. Okay, and path. Okay, so these are some modules. Okay, that is a core module. And also crypto. Tomorrow we will see example of each. Okay, today I am having some work. So util. Okay, os. Okay, also events. We already seen events and os. Okay, os and event we already seen, but we will see it again. Okay, so this is something. Okay, second is a node.js local modules. So if I talk about node.js local module, so it is a chunk of code that may be reused and import from one file to another file. So local modules are those are developed and utilized exclusively within a single project. Okay, developer develop this thing. Okay, so you can usually create a new JavaScript file and specify the module functionality inside. Create local module in Node.js. Okay, so you will also export module dot exports we already seen in the html and react. So we can illustrate, and suppose we have a file called module my module, and that has been code. Okay, if I write something, so earlier I write right here, and I write import and export. Sorry, in a mat.js we write export, right? So we can simulate that thing. Okay, so these are the local modules. We create the local module. Developer will create the local module. Okay, and third thing will be, this is the second one. Okay, and this is the first one. So third thing is a third party modules. So third party modules are external package or library that you have to install. Okay, so it is a part of the Node.js core module but can be easily installed and used in a Node.js application to extend their functionality. Okay, these modules are typically published on a node package manager. So if I give you example, the third party module is express is the first thing. Express, sorry, where I am writing. express, then loaders. Okay, so express, everyone know loaders. Loaders is a utility library that provide a wide range of helper function. Okay, and then exio. Okay, moment. This is also a file. Okay, multer. So these are something, there are many etc. Okay, that will be there. Okay, so today we having in 12 minute. Can we discuss HTTP module? Okay. Okay, if you want to note this thing, you can note it down. Let me zoom out. Okay. Yeah, take a screenshot. It is visible, guys. First take a screenshot of this. Okay, I am counting 1 2 3. I hope everyone taken. Now a screenshot of this. 1 2 3. I hope everyone taken. Done. So let's talk about HTTP modules in Node.js. Okay. So this is a core module, right? So it is a built-in Node.js HTTP module that offer functionality of for setting HTTP server and sending a HTTP query. Okay. So like HTTP for create server method can be used to create a HTTP server. Okay. So like let's make a server with the help of this. Okay, so this is our server.js. Okay, and here we will run const http we will use, and we will require from http. Okay, delete this. Okay, then we will let a server const server http dot create a server. Okay, and then we will write here, um, here we having a request and response. So inside a response I can send a status. So response dot. Okay, and it is a previewed status code. What we will give, what we will give 200, right, if it is a success. Okay, and we can write this request dot send header, content type, what content you are sending, and text plain. Request dot send hello world. Okay, now we will use this server. Okay, so now I will write server dot listen on a 300, sorry, 3000, and I will console dot log server is running on a port if it is a successful. Okay, so cls, and we already created a script start. So can we do npm start to start that thing? Yeah, our server is running on a port 3000. Let me check a port 3000. Okay, so I will provide here the local host. okay, and 3000. I'm getting hello world here, right? So with the help of HTTP module, we are able to create the first application of Node.js, or you can call first server of Node.js. Okay. So first we construct the HTTP server, and then we create a server HTTP dot create a server, right? Where we will get request and response, right? Inside response we send status code 200, and inside a header we provide a content type and text and plain. So basically it will be different, okay, when we will use this thing. And then request dot send a data, request dot end hello world, okay, and this end will be printed, okay. Now we server dot listen, okay. So what server dot listen, it will start a server listening for a connection, okay. Like a net dot server can be TCP and IPC server depending on what listed to. So what is it? It is a TCP server, right? It because we use what we use here HTTP, right? And that use a TCP, okay. So so this is something to create, okay. And we can also request, okay. So everyone taken the screenshot, I hope. Can I change this thing, guys? Take the screenshot of this. I will change this. This is not something important, okay. Taken the screenshot. Take the screenshot of this code. I will not share this, or I will comment out, okay. I will comment out of this, okay. So this is a create how to request, okay. So I will give a const, I will create a one option, okay. And here we go. Here I will create something like this, okay. uh, like host name we will provide, and inside that we will provide a data, like www.google.com, okay. Okay, and then we will provide a port 80 and then path, okay, slash, and then I provide a method get, okay. Now I will create one thing. I will request, okay, const request, because here I already created that thing, okay. Host name is coming from OS, but no requirement of this, I think so. I'm not using this host name, okay. So I will use a const, okay. And yeah, request, I have to request, right? So I will request HTTP, we already imported above, and create a server, okay. See, I already told you here we use common module, right? In packet.json, we are not written here module.json. If I talk about here in uh, React, Okay, if I open this here, you can see type module. So here we will use import. Here we will use import, but inside that I'm not written anything like a type module. So we will create a common module and we will use a required to import. And okay, to import we will use required, right? So here we are using common module. Okay, so here I will send here I want to send option, and then I want to send here only request. Okay, and then I will use this. Okay, and I will console this thing, console dot log, and here uh what is request status. So can we use backtick here, right? And with the help of that, status code request dot status. Okay, okay. So this is done, I think. And request on is one functionality also. Mm, so request on, here you I will provide error. Okay, and I will print the error. Okay, basically what will be the error there during the fetching, we will see there. Okay, and in the rush request dot end you have to send. Okay, basically, so send it right now. Okay, now let's rerun this. So I will do npm start. Okay, I'm getting some error. So it's giving me a request on sorry, error is not defined. I'm giving a response, but here I have to provide request, right? Okay, and here I have to send this response. HTTP. Yeah, it is okay. It is request on is okay. Request on is okay. Okay. Can I do something else? Okay, before the error, I will write one thing. A request on. Okay, and with the help of that, I will write data. Okay, and okay, and here same data I will write, and same I will do this. Sorry, I forget to give the comma here. Console.log data, not a data. I will console.log what is a process there, right? So I will do process dot, okay, std out dot write data. Okay, so I hope it is okay. npm start. uh, Again respond on Okay, we can do this inside this, okay, because we are not defining response. So we will get this response inside this function and we can write this inside this, okay. Great. NVM start. And I can do this thing also. Quiz dot end. I think it should work, but I don't know why it is not working. Let me check once again. Wait, should work. Same code is now working, guys. Okay, this is a problem of my system, I think so. The same code is now working, you can see here. Okay, I am getting a response from a Google. Okay, so see, I give a option and I have to make a request. So I make a request, I provide an option. That means I give a data of mine. Okay, I give the URL, that is host name. I give the port 80. I give the path and I give the method. Okay, and then I pass it as an option and I will send that thing. And I like what will be the responses? I console that thing. Okay, and request on data, on which data I make a request and what will be the error I am getting, I will be print, and then I will end the request. Okay, request dot end means you ending the request. Okay, so I am ending the request here. You can see it is coming now. I end, so it's stop. Might be there is a lot of data, so I will get again and again, so that's why I use this thing. Okay, request dot it. Okay, everyone, so this is something that is, this is how you can create. Earlier we see how can you create that data. Okay, so earlier we seen here how can you create. Okay, and now we already seen how can we request. Okay, how can we make a request? Here is the problem. Here was the problem. Okay, so I will share this code with you. If you want to practice, you can. Okay, so I hope this is knowledgeable session, and we started the Node.js. Tomorrow I will goes a like deep in a Node.js. Okay, so please try to understand every concept that I teach you. Okay, in JavaScript also. Code. Thank you everyone. Thanks for joining the session. I hope everyone enjoy this thing. Okay, this is new thing, but we have to understand. I hope I am able to give all the theoretical knowledge today. Okay, tomorrow we will see only the practical hand on, and hand on. Okay, everyone able to assess the everyone able to assess the code. Okay, bye bye everyone.